Stephanie actually approached me and we started talking about what we could do that could really give you guys some basic cooking skills, some quick, easy meals. And one thing we really wanted to focus on was, we know that you're not going to suddenly completely change everything that you're eating. So you're going to see that we've added some pretty common college foods, and especially today, we're doing mug meals today. So these are all things that you can cook in about 5 minutes or less in your microwave with a prep time of anything from 10 minutes or less than that. So you'll see we have ramen noodles this time. So we're going to show you some ways to make those a little healthier. And then we're just going to talk to you throughout this program about just some different cooking skills as we go along. So I'm going to start with a couple of quick knife skills and just some things that I do in my kitchen just to make things a little bit safer. And because we're working with a lot of meats that we're going to eat without cooking them, always wear gloves, particularly if you're using raw meats, or make sure that you're constantly washing your hands. So we talked about washing your hands a lot last time. This time I'm going to wear gloves and just probably keep changing my gloves a lot. But so the first thing that I do when I'm getting started cooking is you'll notice under my cutting board here, I have a wet towel. So what I do is just it doesn't have to be really soaking wet, just a damp towel. You can use paper towels as well. I put that underneath there because once you put your cutting board on top, you'll notice that it doesn't move around now. So it's going to make it quite a bit safer on your counter. So like I said, towel, paper towel, anything just a little bit damp. It doesn't have to be wet. And when you're using your knives, you'll notice that the knives I have here are really inexpensive knives. So you can get expensive knives, and I own expensive knives, but these are actually some of my favorites. I'm going to show you why. The biggest thing is you want to look for something that's a good weighted knife and very sharp. So we often think that knives, a dull knife is going to be more safe because you're afraid of cutting yourself, but that's actually the opposite of true. So what you want to do is make sure that all of your knives are kept really sharp, because if you have a dull knife and you go to cut into something, you can actually slide and you're more likely to get cut. So I keep these knives really sharp. These knives are about literally $6 a piece, but they're well weighted. And when I hold my knife, I hold it like this. So I actually have my thumb and my forefinger on the blade part of it, and then I have part of my hand on the handle. That gives me really good control over anything that I'm cutting. So any knife you can do that. Even with a paring knife, always keep it in the middle of your knife. So you really want to hold it there so you have good control. So the first thing we're going to chop up, so I'm going to show you how to break down a chicken. We're not going to cook chicken today. Well, we are going to cook it, but we're going to use rotisserie chicken. Really easy thing that you can find at a lot of different grocery stores. But first, we're going to kind of break it down here, and we're going to do a couple of different recipes. So first, we got to get this little string off of it. You can just cut it, but I'm always worried that it's going to leave a little piece there. And then what I like to do is take it just like this and break these legs out until you hear them. Because it's been cooked, they're going to be kind of soft. So I pull it right out. So now you've got the chicken leg and the chicken thigh all together. If it's not coming apart that easily, usually when it's cooked it's going to, but if it's not coming apart that easily, then you can actually cut. You want to look for this little knuckle bone right here, and that's where you want to cut. And you would just cut right down in between like that. Then you have your wings. I like to turn that over. The good thing about a rotisserie chicken is they're really just going to come right apart. So you can pull those right out of there. So I pull the wings out. We're not going to get a lot of meat off of those, but we'll get a little bit. I'm going to discard the neck only because we're not really going to use it today. But if you're looking to make just some chicken stock, like you don't have chicken stock in your, like we're going to use some chicken broth. If you don't have any, you can actually take chicken necks and a little bit of vegetables, throw them in a pot, and make your own chicken stock really quickly. Little salt, pepper, and whatever seasonings you want. And the other thing about a rotisserie chicken is it's going to be really easy to cut right down this bone. You're going to turn it over. I'm going to take my kitchen scissors, cut right down the middle here, and layer it out. You can do this with a raw chicken as well. If you're looking for a faster cooking time, you can actually butterfly your chicken out like this. It's going to cook a little bit faster. Here we're just trying to get as much of the meat off as we can. And we're going to get rid of a lot of the skin. Now listen, the skin has a lot of fat in it, and fat is flavor. But in this case, we're going to add a lot of flavor to it anyway, so we're going to get rid of it. But if you're looking to go lower cholesterol, lower fat, you actually want to get rid of the skin. If you're not worried about that, you can keep the skin. It is tasty. So now that we have our chicken breast, we're going to pull that right off the bone. Your bone's actually just going to come right up off of this. We're going to pull it right through the middle. And then we're going to break this up. I should probably, did you open this one?
No, because it's completely done in the middle.
Open this up. Thank you. All right. So we're going to use the breast first because it has the least amount of bones in it right now. And I want to show you what I was talking about with. So we're going to move those to the side. Got our breast meat. Whenever you are cutting, you always want to curve your hands in, curve your fingers in. That's going to keep you from cutting your fingers off. We don't want to do that, right? And we're just going to cut these really small. We're going to use it in a couple of different recipes, which you will find in your packets. We're going to make a chicken pot pie tonight in a mug, and we're going to make a quick chicken noodle soup. So I'm going to cut these up, and then I'm going to hand it over to Chris for just a moment. We're checking. We actually have already started everything, so it's almost ready. Now everybody gets to taste everything before we're done. No worries, we're not just doing one mug.
They just need a couple more minutes if I'm talking.
Right.
They just make sure to get all the layers done.
All right, so again, we're just gonna hold our fingers back here, chop it into some smaller pieces, and then we're gonna use it in these next two recipes. So I'm gonna grab some ingredients. But before I do that, I just wanted to talk. So again, those of you who weren't here last time, you should have a little red box right in front of you. And that is a kitchen herb garden. It's a little starter. You've got 3 different types of seeds in there and everything you'll need to start it. Now, these are slightly different to the ones that we gave out last time. They actually have little pellets. And I put instructions on how to put a little water in those, let them sit in a bowl just so that they'll kind of puff up and you'll see all the soil get really moist and you'll put your seeds in there. There's only one tiny little thread to that, and that is we would really love for you to give us some pictures or let us know how your herb garden is going. And we're going to use the herbs that we have in those boxes throughout this whole series. So you'll notice we have a little herb garden over here. So we've got some rosemary and some basil, some sage. All of those can be grown in your dorm room, in your home, anywhere in your kitchen, as long as you give them a little bit of light. Keep them watered, and you can have fresh herbs in all of your cooking. So we're going to use a few of those today. I'm going to hand it over to Chris for a second while I grab some ingredients, and we're going to start with our chicken noodle soup and our chicken pot pies.
If you're looking at trying to eat nutritionally and you're worried about cost, you can eat canned vegetables, canned fruit. If you're going to eat canned fruits or canned vegetables, if they're vegetables, make sure that they are low sodium. If they're not low sodium, if you can't get the low sodium version, you can rinse them off. They're going to have a very similar nutritional value as to the fresh. So if you're talking fresh green beans or canned green beans or even frozen green beans, pretty much the same nutritional value in those, but there's going to be a big difference in the cost sometimes. So check that out if you're looking, to try to save money but still eat nutritionally. So I just wanted to add that as you're looking at your pantry list and how you might work things out there. The other thing I want to mention, I'll save the really fun thing for the end, but the other thing I wanted to mention to you is food safety. And I know this came up last time, but a lot of people have misconceptions. I used to do a lot of work with the different food banks and things like this, and they would say, they're giving me this food, it's expired. But I just wanted to give you this information, and we're going to share this at another time with you, but if the package says to you, best if used by or before, What this really means, this date indicates when a product will be of best flavor or quality. It's not a purchase or safety, right? So that was best if used by or before, right? So don't think you see that and it says tomorrow's date. You can still purchase it. It might not be as fresh, but you can still purchase it. And sometimes if you go through to the grocery store, they'll have these different items that are marked down because the date's closed. So you know, like, it's okay to buy that. It might not be the best flavor as it was when it was fresh, but it could be closed. The other one is sell by, and that date tells us the store how long to display that product for inventory management. So it's not even a safety date. So if you see the sell by and it says tomorrow, it's for inventory. So you don't have to worry about that so much. It's not going to be bad. The use by date is the last date recommended for use of the product while at peak quality. So it's not a safety date except for when used on infant formula. So the only time used by is important is if you're using it for infant formula. And then the last one, freeze by date, and that date indicates when a product should be frozen to maintain its peak quality, right? So you go, you're saying chicken thighs, you go to buy those chicken thighs and it says on there freeze by date. So if it has the freeze by then date, you want to freeze it by that date. It's not a purchase date or safety or quality or anything like that. So I just wanted to review those with you. The other information that I wanted to share for you, I used to get this question all the time too. You know, food is expensive right now. So people would say, I made chicken noodle soup, and how long is that good for? So if you put that in the refrigerator after you use it that initial time, you can usually go with 3 days for it to be good. And then I would say maybe freeze it. If you're gonna freeze something, always mark what it says on there, always give an indicator of what it's in the package. It's chicken noodle soup. I made it on 10/16/23. So when you go back in there, you know what it is. It's not mystery meat in there that you have no clue what it is. And we're gonna go back to Belinda now in the kitchen.
So we're gonna make a quick chicken pot pie. And the first thing we're gonna add to our bowl, we're actually gonna make 4 of these at once. So we're just gonna get some cream of chicken soup. I usually choose a low salt version. I couldn't actually find it today, so we did just a regular version, but we're not gonna put a lot of extra salt in here because we did not get the low salt versions. Again, this is gonna be kind of a salt to taste, so if you like a little more salt, then you can always add it, which is exactly why I get things that are either no salt or low salt, because then I can determine how much I want in there. So we're just gonna kind of loosen this up a little. We're going to give it some frozen vegetables, and you guys do actually have the recipe in here. So we kind of pre-portioned it out. So we're going to add some frozen vegetables, and these are just simple frozen vegetables. So the whole theme of tonight is these are quick, easy meals that are going to take you no time to make. So we're going to add those in. We're going to add some of our chicken in. Grab some gloves. What was that?
Nothing.
All right, so we're going to add a little bit of chicken in. And this was just our rotisserie chicken that we chopped up. So we're going to add that in. And then we're going to give it a little bit of milk. You don't have to add a lot of milk. We're just going to give it enough that it's going to loosen it up some. Thanks. So really about, we're making a little bit more than what's in your recipe. So this is going to be about 2 or 3 tablespoons. And you're going to kind of take a look at it. You do want a little bit of liquid in there. So if it seems too thick, we're going to add a little chicken broth. You can add water if you don't have chicken broth. So, you know, if you're looking around and you're like, I have milk, I have vegetables, I have chicken, but I don't have chicken broth. No worries. You can use just a little bit of milk because we're only trying to loosen up just enough that it's not too thick in there. This is going to be the easiest chicken pot pie that you've ever made. You're going to salt and pepper to taste. So we're going to add just a little bit of pepper to this one. and a little bit of garlic. You don't have to put the garlic if you don't want it. And as I said last time, garlic with your heart, not with the recipe.
I like that.
So if you are a garlic person like me, then you add garlic. You can actually add minced garlic in this too, and it's really good that way. All right. So now we're gonna portion this out into 4 mugs. Set that to the side. Okay, so we want to make sure that we have a mug that's oven safe. That part is really important. So when I went looking for these mugs, I actually looked for things that had 2 properties to them. They needed to be microwave safe and they needed to be oven safe up to 500 degrees. So these are up to 500, meaning you shouldn't really broil with them because sometimes your broiling is going to be a little bit higher than that, but we're just going to bake with these. All right, so we're going to, yes. There you go. There's that. Thank you. Yeah, halfway or so. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to take our biscuits, and we're going to put them right on top. And then we're going to put them in the oven at 375 degrees. And we're looking for them to be golden brown, which should take about 15 minutes, but you want to kind of keep an eye on them. Because some ovens are slightly different, so we always want to keep that in mind. The temperature can vary slightly, even though we're putting the right temperature on our oven, it can vary slightly. And if you're concerned that it's going to get too hot or you want it to cook a little slower, you can go down to 350 degrees on these. And you can make these a little more full than we're making them tonight. We're kind of making a smaller version here because these are yes, because these are 16-ounce mugs. So we're making a little bit smaller. This recipe is really for more of an 8-ounce mug. If you want more in there, you're more hungry than this, double the recipe and you'll have as much. Or you could use this same recipe and only do 2 instead of 4.